All right, let's start out with the good. The Phillies won the weekend series against the Marlins. Now let's get into the bad. The fact that they blew Sunday's game, losing 7-5 to the Florida Marlins thanks to their putrid bullpen. Now, I did a video last week about the issues that this Phillies team has. And I'll use the same preface with that video that I'll use for this video. It's April. It's early. I'm not hitting a panic switch. I think that there's a problem on the internet where people think that because you're bringing up an issue, it means that all of a sudden you are going off in the streets and just hitting the panic button and knocking on doors and saying the British are coming. Like, no, it's not that deep, okay? Because these issues can be fixed. But here's what you notice in April baseball is you walk around and you go like, okay, Brandon Marsh, issue. Max Kepler, There was one thing that I didn't bring up. And as soon as I hit publish on that video, I thought, okay, forgot this. But hey, maybe I'll get lucky and maybe they'll fix that issue and I'll never have to make that video. It didn't happen. The issue is the bullpen. The bullpen is a major issue. Now, when you look at the bullpen, in my opinion, they have two relievers. They have two. That is it. They have Jose Alvarado and they have Matt Strahm. And everybody else is cheeks. They're not good. Now, I know that everybody's all Orion Kerkeringed up. Everybody loves the Orion Kerkering story. You know, within 1 year, he makes it to the major leagues. His dad's crying. It's a great story, no doubt, okay? And Lord only knows how much we heard about that devastating sweeper. I hate the term sweeper. But Lord only knows how much we heard about that. And Orion Kerkering was so hyped up when he first arrived as this, like, unhittable reliever. It was kind of like the Ken Giles hype from, back in, 2015? Where you were just made to believe that this dude was Teflon. That there was nobody who could hit this guy when he was on. And he's been okay, but he was the reason why they ended up blowing Sunday's game. He ended up taking the loss. His ERA is 4.5. And when I look at Orion Kerkering, he is a really good reliever in low leverage situations. You can't trust him in mid-level situations or leverage situations. You can't trust him in high leverage situations. He's not that Ryan Madsen type from the 2008 team, the bridge to Lidge. He's not that. If you want a guy to go out there in a 3-4 run game in the 6th inning, Orion Kerkering is your guy. If you want a setup guy in the 8th inning in a 2-run game, I don't want to see Orion Kerkering because I just don't think he's built for it. And that's okay. Some guys are, some guys aren't. Lord only knows, when I played baseball, I choked with runners in scoring position. My father, who was the coach, will tell you that. I was the worst person to have up. If there were guys on base, I was striking out because I would just get in my head. And maybe that's the issue with Orion Kerkering. Yeah, I just compared myself to a Major League Baseball player because I sucked back in, Little League in 1998. That's neither here nor there. Orion Kerkering is not a high leverage reliever. They have Jose Alvarado. They have Matt Strahm. That's it. And the fact that they haven't named Jose Alvarado the closer already is mind-boggling to me. Just do it. I don't have many issues with Rob Thompson during the Rob Thompson era because they've won a lot of baseball games and they've had more success under Rob Thompson than I've seen since, Charlie Manuel. It was like Charlie Manuel, crap. Okay, Rob Thompson. But one of the issues I have is he refuses to name a closer. And baseball players are creatures of habit. There's that whole RFK thing going around of people with autism will never play baseball. And it's laughable because of the fact that baseball players are the biggest creatures of habit we've ever seen. And one of the creatures of habit tendencies they have is they like to know where their role is. And Rob Thompson coming in and not naming a closer is frustrating to me because I know, just speaking with former baseball players, that they like knowing exactly what their plan is, exactly what they're going to be doing. I think at this point, though, it is Jose Alvarado. He seems to be taking the majority of the 9th inning. But when you look at the Phillies bullpen, it is trash after Alvarado and Strahm. I mean, you're looking at Tanner Banks, who's okay. He's been okay. And I want to see more of him. But I'm not enamored with Tanner Banks. Jordan Romano is this year's Juris Familia. If you remember, the Phillies signed Juris Familia, I think 2 years ago. And they signed him in a $7 million contract. And I think Jordan Romano got a little bit more than that. He might have gotten 10 this year. But it wasn't much more. It was a reclamation project. It was like a, hey, you've been good in the past. You weren't good last year. Let's see if maybe a change of scenery can help. Caleb Kaufman do his thing, and we can get you back to that dominant pitcher that you were. And until he is that dominant pitcher, I'm not calling him Romano. No, bud. Not with that ERA. You're Jordan Romano. If you want to earn your actual name, and you want to earn the Romano title, if you want to put some stank on your name, fine, get somebody out. But you haven't. He's been terrible. 15.26 ERA. And I assume that it's going to be very similar to Juris Familia, where if you remember, the Phillies made a couple of deadline moves, and they ended up releasing Juris Familia. They cut bait. They said, you know what, this ain't working out. Deuces, kick rocks, we're done. And I think the same thing's probably going to happen with Jordan Romano. Because at this point, Rob Thompson is like, I don't know where to put him. It seems like anytime I put him, in the ninth inning, he's imploding. And do I put him in the sixth? And of course, we get the age-old, the T-Mac story of, and I'm not blaming T-Mac on this, but it's he was working with Caleb Cotham, and they think they've discovered something. They think they've fixed it. They haven't fixed shit with Jordan Romano. He sucks. He's cooked. They need to cut bait. And that was your big off-season bullpen move, was signing this guy. Hasn't worked out. It's been dreadful. Jose Ruiz. Jose Ruiz has a 6 ERA. Carlos Hernandez, claimed off waivers from the Royals. I think we just found out why the Royals cut bait on him. His ERA is 9. For whatever reason, Joe Ross has been in 8 games already. His ERA is 7.45. What are we doing? This bullpen is an issue. Dave Dombrowski went out and he addressed the starting rotation. And at the time, I wasn't a huge fan of it, even though I liked Jesus Luzardo. I just wasn't a huge fan of the idea of doing it because I thought this team needed other areas of improvement. But to his credit, that Jesus Luzardo move has been stellar. Jesus Luzardo is trending to be the Cy Young winner right now. The guy is unhittable. And that move has been a masterstroke by Dave Dombrowski. But on the flip side, if Jesus Luzardo can only give you 7 innings, God forbid, then the next 2 innings are going to be harem scarum. And that's the issue. Now, this can be fixed. But let's take a look at the Dave Dombrowski moves when it comes to the bullpen, because in my opinion, he's had 3 good ones. 3, that is it. He traded for Jose Alvarado. Very good move. He signed Matt Strahm. Very good move. Oh, there was one more that I forget. It might only be those 2. No, there's definitely one more. There's definitely one more in there. I mean, if you want to go drafting Orion Kerkering, but I won't give you that. There is one more, and I do want to give him credit, and if I think of it, of course, I'll cut in with it. But for the most part, it was Hoffman. But I don't even know if I can give him credit on the Hoffman move because it was really Bryce Harper who went to Lehigh Valley, did a simulated game there. Hoffman was pitching to him, and he's like, why the hell isn't this guy in the majors? This guy is really, really good. And if you remember, Jeff Hoffman was going to opt out of his Phillies contract because he wasn't on a major league team. And Bryce Harper went to Dave Dombrowski and was like, this guy's better than half our bullpen. Can we bring him up? And they kept him. I vividly remember seeing the MLB trade rumors tweet that said Jeff Hoffman opts out of Phillies contract. And then he decided, you know what, no, I'll stay because they called him up because of the Bryce Harper thing. So I don't even know if you can give Dave Dombrowski credit on the Jeff Hoffman move because he wasn't going to bring him up until your best player basically made a pitch for him. But I think Jeff Hoffman is a good example of you can fix this. And you can fix this mid-season. Now, when I look at a possible internal option a la a Matt Hoffman for this season, there is only one that I can think of currently that would make some sense. And if a Jordan Romano were to go on the IL, it wouldn't be an injury, it would be hey, get your head right kind of move. The internal name that I would go with is Koyo Aogi. And I am probably butchering that name, okay? But it's Koyo and then Aoyagi. So Koyo Aogi, maybe. But Koyo Aogi, however you want to say it, was the Japanese player the Phillies signed in the offseason. Because they thought, well, people want Roque Sasaki. Well, we're not going to give him that, but we'll give him this dude. But all jokes aside, he was a former closer in Japan, a very good closer in Japan, had a really, really good career. The Phillies signed him for not much money, bringing him over. They've stored him in Lehigh Valley for the time being. He didn't make the team, obviously, out of spring training, and he's pitched really well in Lehigh Valley. In 7 games, he's got a 1.29 ERA, so he's given up 1 run. He's got 8 strikeouts. His WHIP is 1 on the dot. I would like to see him brought up over Jordan Romano, over Carlos Hernandez, over Joe Ross. Like, at this point, I'm at the, hey, I don't know if this guy's good, but I know he's not those guys. So I would call him up just to see if, he could possibly be something for them. Because at this point, what do they have to lose? Now, I will end up looking in the 40-man because I don't think he's on the 40-man, which would require you to make a move. So let's take a look at, as my computer fails to load. He's the only one, though, that I can think of in terms of, like, bringing somebody up. Maybe they bring up, like, a Michael Mercado. I don't think so. And it doesn't look like a Yogi is on. No, he's not. And Michael Mercado is. So maybe Mercado might actually be the guy that would get optioned out. But there's a couple of guys here that are on the minors that you just go like, is this a real person? On the 40-man that you can obviously designate for assignment to make a move there. That would be an interesting one. I don't have a ton of faith that Dave Dombrowski will be able to build a competent bullpen because he's tried this before. He traded for Ian Kennedy, and I liked the move at the time. I did. Ian Kennedy was having a really good year with the Texas Rangers. Didn't work out. Last year, he traded for Carlos Estevez. Didn't work out. Carlos Estevez was lights out when it came to his ERA. When it came to inheriting runners, he was horrible. You saw that in the playoffs. Like, he has made attempts to fix bullpens, and I think he's failed at it. And I don't have a ton of faith that this will be any different, but I do have a lot of faith that he will at least make an attempt to do so. But it's a problem. I mean, the Phillies bullpen is a legitimate problem right now when you're throwing out 4 guys with ERAs over 5. And you're putting them in high leverage, middle leverage situations. But hey, that's the thing about April baseball. Like, this is the time to kind of figure out if a guy can be something a la, like, let's see if Joe Ross can pitch well for us out of the bullpen. Let's see if we can find a diamond in the rough in Carlos Hernandez. He didn't. Okay, fine. What's the next move? Because while you can't lose a division you can't win a division in April. You can lose it. You know what I'm talking about. All right, anyway, go Phils.